Welcome, and welcome back to most of you. Look very familiar that you were here last night, but I know that there's some people who were here that weren't here last night. But I'm going to keep the introduction short. I think most of you are familiar with our speaker. One of the things that we have tonight, though, are these cards that will be out in the gathering space after the talk, and they'll be available for tomorrow. Because a lot of people were asking, how do we get more information? How do we get in touch with you? How do we, find out about the BR Coalition? So you can just grab one of these cards, and it'll just take you right to the website for the BR Coalition. And then on the back of this card is some information about Men on Fire. It has the next upcoming speakers for Men on Fire listed in here. All of you got here somehow, heard about this somehow in your parish bulletin or on the radio, or somebody invited you, or you're on my email list. We do these kinds of events where we invite women twice a year. Men, we have a men's event every single month. And to receive those emails, you have to be on our email list. So we've got two. We've got blue and pink. Guess which one is for the men and which one is for the women, right? Pretty easy, right? But every once in a while, the women will put their name on the blue one because this is for the men's events. The men's events are every month. So if you put your name on the blue one, you will get an email 2 or 3 times a month. If you put your name on the pink one, you'll get an email 2 or 3 times a year, just for the ones that women are invited to. So we are ready to go. As soon as I see Father John, he'll come up here and give us a blessing. And there he is, all right. So the pastor, just for anybody who's visiting here, the pastor is Father John Rokas. And I should have mentioned this last night when the weather was beautiful. If you come here tomorrow, there's a wonderful trail in the back. Tomorrow morning there'll be Mass at 9 a.m. and then Doug's talk will start. Well, we'll have breakfast. The Knights of Columbus are cooking breakfast at 9:45, and then his talk will start after that, maybe 10, something like that. But there's a wonderful trail in the back here. Well, I'll let Father John. You want to talk about he can talk about some of the amenities at the parish here. So, Father John Rokas, the pastor of Holy Spirit.
Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming out. In terms of that trail, we are putting the statues out. We have one of those statues headed for the trail. That's Father Solanus over there in the corner. This is made of fiberglass by a group of artists down in Colombia by way of a group in Florida called, let me see if I can come, Fiat Imports. So they've done some wonderful, and it's custom made. We provided them with our desires, what we would like Father Solanus to look like. What he's doing there is he's writing down the miracles that he performs. People, would visit him there at the monastery in Detroit, and his superior, recognizing that he had a special charism, said, I want you to start writing these things down. So there are those brochures or those pamphlets, whatever you want to call them, journals are on display down there. Very interesting because they are the record of miracles. Pretty interesting. So we've got several statues and shrines out there, and unfortunately things are probably a bit soggy right now because of the rain, and it looks like it's going to be soggy for the next week. While I'm doing shameless promotion of the parish, I'll tell you a few other things. We have something called the Dine with Jesus up there on the Serenity Court. We have a road that goes up the hill and out by the cemetery. Up on the hill we have this beautiful sculpture by Toronto sculptor Timothy Schmaltz, world renowned. He's got statues all over the place, but it's Jesus at the Last Supper. He's sitting there at a table with 12 empty seats. Those seats are, of course, to represent the apostles, but they're for you. And you can go and sit down by yourself, visit with him, or you can organize a little dinner, luncheon with people, and just let us know that you're coming so that you can, there's no conflicts. So that's one of the things. I'm sure you've visited our bookstore gift shop, our renowned bookstore gift shop. The new thing was in there just the past week, maybe some of you heard, we became a distributor for The Chosen. How many Chosen fans here? Oh, very good, very good. And of course, you must know by now, I was in one of those episodes. Yes. Feeding of the 5,000, one of 5,000 sitting in the very, very back row. in front of a Roman soldier. So it was very cool, and it had one of the highlights of my life. And we've got a contest going through the bookstore gift shop where the winner of that prize can do what I did, go visit the set. But in a much more intimate setting, you'd be able to just observe them as they continue to film season 4. I saw something the other day, some of you probably saw it too. Things are a little quiet on the website these days because they're filming season 4, but there's this little documentary piece, they do a lot of these, where they talk about the filming of the Jesus and Peter walking on the water. Very, very impressive. They interview all these people and they just feel God had such a part in producing and directing and helping the principal players, the directors and so on, in making that scene. It was a surprise ending and quite powerful as well. Let's see, do we have anything else going on around here? No, I think this is to be the last major event between now and who knows when. So we needed to take a breather. We've got many, many things going on around here. We are an active parish, so we're glad you're here, and stop in whenever you want. We did begin last night with a prayer, and I think it's appropriate we do that again. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good and gracious Father, thank you for the blessings of our faith, our church here. Holy Spirit, named after the third person of your Trinity. Pour out the Holy Spirit tonight upon our gathering. Anoint the words of Doug. Anoint the ears and hearts of his listeners. May his word go out through all the world and help us to share in sharing that word. Please continue the good work that you've begun in us and help us to continue to prepare for what you have in store for us next. We pray through Christ our Lord. Amen. Doug, please come forward.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Okay, so we ready? Yep. Okay, let's start with some jumping jacks. Okay. Okay, tonight I want to talk a little bit about, last night we addressed kind of the spiritual part. Tonight we're going to talk more about kind of the natural, kind of mental, emotional aspect of being better prepared. Tomorrow, and we'll touch a little bit on some of the other pieces of the puzzle: food, water, shelter, medical, and defense. 5 main categories. Tomorrow, though, we're covering everything. We're going to break down much more about water, food, medical, defense, shelter, and kind of how that breaks down into different areas. What we do with Be Our Coalition, Be Ready Coalition here, is we focus on 5 main categories, as I mentioned: water, food, shelter, medical, defense, and a lot of subcategories into those, and 4 tiers. The tier idea is to help people look at being prepared in a way, because a lot of people have done nothing or very little to be prepared, and so you got to get that entry level going, because it can be very overwhelming, especially when you see commercials out there or talk out there of the power grid going down. And there's talk of, if the grid goes down and really goes down due to something like an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, the conversation is that, by the experts, is that it will put us back into the 1800s without the skills of the 1800s, right? Because the people in the 1800s were used to the 1800s. We're not. Yes, ma'am? Starlink. Yes. No, that's not my name. What? I'm sorry, what?
Starlink.
What about it?
It is through the satellite. We've gotten rid of our cable.
Right.
And we're,
That's Elon Musk thing, right?
Yeah. We got it. We switched over, and it's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
So if it all goes down, we'll still be having the satellite.
Yeah, because their satellites will be above all the grid stuff. The problem would be with that, and you're right about that, is the electronics down here that would receive it, is if those chips get fried. The thing about an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, is you can detonate a nuclear device several miles in the atmosphere or even higher, and the EMPs, electromagnetic pulse that will be sent, and it can be sent through a solar flare too from the sun. This pulse can literally fry transformers, computer chips, your car, the computers in your car, phones, all those types of things. It can happen. Isn't guaranteed. Good friend of mine, 32 years EOD, military, explosive ordnance disposal. Master Chief, so he's an expert in nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. And he said, Doug, we've been looking at this stuff forever. We know about it. And we know that it's going to depend, the magnitude of an EMP attack would depend largely on the position of the explosion, the altitude of the city, cloud cover, moisture in the clouds. All these things can absorb EMP and reduce the impact of them. So there's a lot of logistical pieces of that. However, the United States is built on 3 main sections of power grid. Like roughly 70%, this is all rough, but 70% is East Coast area. And then you got Texas, where I'm from, is on its own grid. And by the way, have you heard of Texit yet? It's like Brexit. Yeah, there are people, my wife and I went to get something to eat at a restaurant with a couple of friends last week, and it was a pizza joint, small little town, and back in the little conference room they had back there, a bunch of Texans, a big Texas shirt on, coming out with the sign, Texit, contact this website. They're serious about seceding. They talk about having dual citizenship, Texas and the United States. All right, but they will not do it in any way that violates the Constitution. Either the Texas Constitution or the U.S. Constitution. They're serious about doing it, but they want to do it in the right way. And the reason they want to do it is because of what's happening in our country. So the movements of division in our country are very real, to the point where they're looking at putting this on the ballot. Okay? So these types of things are happening. Back to the point though, 70% of our grid, 70% roughly East Coast, then Texas, and the rest is West Coast. Now the power is shared in different ways. And as my friend says, if it affects even half the grid, a quarter of the grid, the whole country is going to feel it in one way or another. It's going to affect us if the grid is hit. But there are people who are so, what do I do if the grid goes down? They don't know what to do. And so the idea of entering into prepping, and I again want to make this point about prepping, we look at it as an integrated way of living. It's a mindset change. And that's what I'm going to focus on tonight. Because prepping in and of itself is not just store up survival food, put it in a plastic container, and bury it out in the woods. There are people who do think that way. And I've met some, like, oh, I'm ready to go. I got my cabin. It's off grid. No one knows where it is. Satellites can't even see it. How's that? You know, it's crazy. Where some people are ready for the apocalyptic events, they're going to wipe out civilization, but they're going to survive in their cabin with their fishing pole. I'm not making fun of that, maybe a little. But the point I'm getting at is, it's not realistic for society. That's not what God calls us to as Christians. I mean, if we think that our Lord is saying, when everything hits the fan, scatter, and good luck. Every man for himself. What happened to the corporal works of mercy? Feed the hungry, drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless. Care for the sick, visit the imprisoned, bury the dead. That's a responsibility we have. And our salvation is dependent upon that piece, by the way. Matthew chapter 25. When the Son of Man comes again in the glory of all the angels, he will assemble all the nations before him. We're all going to be there. He will separate the sheep from the goats. Goats are going to hell, sheep are going to heaven. I'm paraphrasing here, short version. Why? Because when I was hungry, you fed me, you clothed me, you cared for me. When did we do this, Lord? When you did to the least of my brothers. That's why you're going to heaven. You cared for people. You showed the love in a corporal way, a physical way, a tangible way. You guys didn't do that. And maybe that's some of those who have the mindset that if everything hits the fan, we're running. I don't want to be that way. I want to be an instrument of light in this world, don't you? But how do we do that, and how do we enter into that? So we talk about 4 main tiers. First tier, are you prepared for at least 3 days of water, food, medical shelter, and defense? Minimum 3 days. From there, are you prepared for 3 weeks? That's tier 2. Tier 3 is 3 months, and tier 4 is a year plus. And if we can get ourselves the mindset of being prepared for 3 months or a year or more, we're probably in pretty good position to handle a lot of whatever could be thrown at us. But there are people who 3 days, they're just, what do you mean 3 days? What does that mean? The average person needs approximately a gallon of water a day to be healthy and survive. Just roughly a gallon. It's going to depend. If you're pregnant, it might be a little more. If you're nursing, a little bit more, right? If you're a hard worker, you're out there, you're exerting a lot of energy and perspiration, might be a little bit more. If you're a small child, maybe a little bit less, and so forth. But average it out to approximately a gallon. How much stored water do you have in your house for, say, 3 days, a family of 5? And let's say you also have to bring in cleaning, washing, and cooking food. So water, and again, we'll do much more detail on how we go about this tomorrow in storing water and this and that, and filtering water and other things. But in general, let's get the mindset. Where's our mind when it comes to just having enough drinking water? Drinking water alone. just drinking water, for every person in your family. So if there's 5 people in your family, mom, dad, 3 kids, for 3 days, 15 gallons. Now, you don't have to shout it out, it's entirely up to you, but rhetorically, do we all have at least 15 gallons of stored water in our home right now to get a family of 5 through 3 days? That's just 3 days. I hear people a lot will come to me and they'll say, hey, Doug, I'm loaded on the food. I got 5-gallon buckets, man, of rice and beans. How much water do you got stored up? Well, not a lot. Well, how are you going to cook the rice and beans? Right? We mentioned that last night, I think. We have to put these things in proper perspective to get the right mindset. If we're missing one piece of, just break it down into the 5, miss one key piece there, it will throw a serious wrench in the gears of the entire survival moment. One piece. You can have all the food, shelter, medical defense, but not enough water. You can have water, food. I know I've been giving talks at people's homes. People will invite me in. Hey, Doug, you're in the neighborhood, you're in town. Yeah, will you come over to our house? We're going to invite our preppers over, our friends, and we got a little community, and everybody's got their checklist. We'd like to show you what we got and get your thoughts on it. Okay, great. I love doing that. I really do. And I don't want to be the downer at the party, but a lot of times the number one thing, the mindset that they haven't thought about or don't want to think about, they got food, they got water. In fact, I know a family that's got literally an half underground garden in the Midwest where it gets sub-zero cold, but it's domed and they've got underground trenching, and it's one of these I forget the title of it. They put like over $50,000 into this thing, and these are being built in various places so you can grow citrus in the middle of winter in North Dakota in this thing. I kid you not. It's amazing stuff. It's expensive. They got it all. It's great. I said, okay, your community defense to protect all this. Where's that? We should write that down. Defense. We need defense. It's like, have you thought about defending and protecting all this stuff? Now, a lot of Christians have this kind of blind idea to this, I think. There's this idea as Christians that, oh no, we're going to do all that. God will take care of protecting us. I hope and pray that happens. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last night. If I didn't, I'm sorry, I'll do it now. If I did, some of you are new. If you have not heard this piece on YouTube, A Year in Hell, did I mention that last night? If you haven't, write it down. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's 17 and a half minutes. A Year in Hell. It's an audio clip of surviving the Bosnian War when the infrastructure collapsed. If we think normalcy bias has got this country, and I think it does in a lot of ways, this should shake a lot of that out. One of the scariest and saddest pieces of that 17 and a half minutes of A Year in Hell is when the guy recounts in there that women gave their bodies over for sexual favors for a can of Spam because they had kids to feed. Now I look at that and that makes me want to tremble with anger that we don't think far enough in advance to protect you ladies and children. Men, where the are we? If we don't realize how fast a civilization can spiral out of control. I had a long talk today with a guy who's telling me about his son, who was a cop in Chicago during the BLM riots just a couple of years ago, right? His son was involved in 40 BLM riots. And how they organized them with Antifa, BLM, and the gang members. And how they choreographed it so they could loot the stores. You know who looted the stores first? It wasn't on camera because they were this clever. The gang members. You know what they actually did? They brought trucks. They rented trucks. They brought trucks that they had stolen and had them lined up. And when the Antifa group was told to hit the line here, and the cops could, they concerted their efforts right there, and the battle of Antifa, the gangs were over here clearing out stores. And then they were ordered to move the Antifa members to the stores to start the looting. Then the cameras see that, and that's what we saw. All this choreographed decline of civilization. If that doesn't say to us how easily we can completely spiral out of control, I don't know what does. But our mindset oftentimes is, oh no, we're going to get our family together, they're going to bring their cows, they've got pigs, and they know how to get water, and this guy's good with the medical, and we got some guns because we hunt. And I'm thinking that's great, but hunting is not the same as tactical training. Now, if we got any military law enforcement in here, you know what I'm talking about. But we don't teach and train that very much. I'm not military or law enforcement. I've trained with those guys a lot, though. I've trained with Irving Police down in Dallas, in church security stuff, Secret Service guys, a couple of guys. oh boy, former Ranger, former Green Beret. I mean, guys like this. And when you train with those guys, it's a whole different thing than just drawing your gun and going plink, 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 plink. Okay, how'd I do? Man, I'm good. You know? That's different than when you're 2-3 man drills and you're calling out signs and you're, reloading and, and you're shooting and moving and you're clearing a house. And as I mentioned last night, I know people who don't even think to have a flashlight on it. By the way, this still got it. Yeah, I had it last night and I got it tonight. Yeah. It's been with me the whole time since last night. All right, hey, flashlight in the bag, good for you, man. But you can't shoot what you can't see. Mindset, we got to get the mindset right. If we're, I feel like a star. Good for you. Got the flashlight there. All right, I like it. Yeah, this is Preppers Unite. Yeah. But you can't. But the mindset we have is, I won't get that. Do you realize that getting a flashlight, keeping it in your purse or in your pocket, all right, is one of the simplest things to do? And yet people won't do it sometimes. It's just, and I'm going to show you another one. In this bag, I talked to, like I said last night, this bag, I got a lot of simple stuff in here. I carry with me everywhere. When it comes to flashlights, I'm a big believer of the redundancy rule. 2 is 1, 1 is none. I like 3 or 4. 250 watt, or 250 lumen, pardon me, sorry ma'am. 250 lumen, look at the size of this thing. This pulls out right here. There's a little port right there to plug it in and recharge this little guy. It's a Streamlight, it's a great brand, very durable. Look at the size of that. That's easy to carry. You know what's great about these flashlights is the double hook right here. So I put my hat on, I can reverse it, and I can clamp it onto my brim of my hat. Now I'm hands-free. Very simple. Size difference between that one and this one, it's half the size. 1500 lumen O-light, 250 lumen Streamlight. Now 250 is pretty good. I can light up a lot of this church with 250. Now 1500 is a little bit different. I can really light it up. Okay, it's a little bit, and this will throw further. Okay, there's no doubt about that. I can throw this much further down the street, out in the woods somewhere, as opposed to something like this. This clearly is not going to be as bright. You can see the difference in them, right? Okay, there we go. So that's just a couple options right there. I also carry with me, because I am a redundancy type of guy, which is always kind of a fun thing to talk about. I carry with me another flashlight. This is another Streamlight. And the thing, I'm going to show you this one first too. This one just turned on to me. Headlamp. This is one of those things where people think, okay, this guy's nuts. He's pulling all this gear out of his bag, right? Hands-free. Anybody got kids, grandkids you might have to carry in a crisis, right? Oh, yeah. Pops, oh, these are nice, yeah. This is all rechargeable stuff. Like, I don't get stuff that needs new batteries, because then I got to carry batteries. I just carry charger cord and a power bank, right? And then I've also gotten, the power banks are solar powered. You can recharge them with solar or plug them in. And then I've also got backup battery stations. So I can big battery station at home, recharge my power bank if I got to go out, and that power bank can go in my backpack, and I got my lights all backed up as well. But these are the types of things that are not hard. They're really not hard to just start carrying with you. This is a 500 lumen. It's a little bit larger than the O-light. Streamlight, very durable. $65 to $70, depending on the price at the time. About $50. The little 250 lumen one here I showed you is, at the time I got it, was around $30. They're affordable. And they're worth it. It's one of the simplest things to get started on. All right? Someone take a picture and send it to my wife. Look at him. He's got a light on the head, 3 lights in his hands. All right? But why do I bring this up? Because, again, this is all mindset. We've got to get the right mindset. Psychologically, when it comes to these things, I'm not saying go out there and buy $5,000 worth of survival food. Go out and buy yourself like 80,000 rounds of .226 or .223 and 5.56, 9mm hollow point. That's what I'm saying to do. I say go get a little bit of those things, but start with something that's even 3 days worth. Make sure you got a go bag in your car. This is the one I fly with, because on the airplane I can't take things like a survival hatchet, a hunting knife, extra ammunition. It just doesn't work. They frown at TSA. This has poncho, rain poncho, paracord. It's got, as I mentioned, I got a small med kit in here. I've got the water filters in here. This goes with me everywhere. I got plenty of light, all right? So what I'm getting at is to start with these different tiers. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 1 year plus. Now our BR Coalition course, BREP, BR, Be Ready, Emergency Preparedness, BREP course, actually covers all of this in massive detail. There's no way I could tonight, tomorrow, last night, I couldn't cover everything that's in the course. The course has links to all of these items I just showed you and a gazillion more. And the reason we put the course together, and if you go to brcoalition.com, sounds salesy, but it's a way to get it done. Because I can't give you all the information right here. What I can hopefully do here tonight, tomorrow, is inspire and encourage and teach some basics so we can get you started to get moving in the right direction. Yes, ma'am?
Is that information on the card that Rory was talking about?
Yeah, the card that Rory's talking about has brcoalition.com on there. You pick up one of those cards, it's going to give you the direction to get to the website. And then you'll be able, from the website, there's two main things we offer. The one-time purchase course, which is about 5 hours of video and instruction. It's me, it's my daughter-in-law who's a nurse. She does all the medical pieces of it. We talk about everything from like homesteading type of things to medical to self-defense. We talk about general basic hand-to-hand stuff and the basic stuff on firearms, entry-level stuff, but enough to get you moving in the right direction. And then as the tiers intensify, so does the information. You work at your own pace. There's no checking in on this and, tests to take. It's all information you digest at your own speed. It's very simple stuff. The other thing we offer is a monthly training program, which basically there's no contracts for these things either, by the way. And there's always money back guarantee on all the stuff. And I mean that. I'm not trying to sell you stuff that you don't want. Buy the course. You got 30 days. You could absorb the whole thing in 30 days and then tell me you don't like it and get your money back. Wouldn't necessarily be nice if you did it that way. But if you don't get anything out of it and don't want it, you get your money back. Okay. All that being said, that's kind of the sales portion of it there. Get that card that Rory put together. God bless him for that. He made that up on his own, the whole QR code and all that. He did that on his own. I really appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. Let's get into this, though. What's your mindset when it comes to preparation? The mindset when it comes to preparation is normally proven or shown by what we have on us at any given moment. If you've heard the term EDC, everyday carry, what do you carry on you every day? Because what we carry on us every day normally indicates to some degree, a large degree, what we think is important. And it also indicates to a large degree what we're prepared for if something bad happens and what bad things might happen that we're thinking about, if that makes sense. In other words, you have a spare tire in your car. Most people do, but some people, honestly, I promise you this, don't know for sure. And some people don't know how to get it off the car. If it's bolted up underneath and you got to put the little hole there, put the thing in and crank it down and lower it down with the little chain, or whether they got to open up the back and pull it out. Is it just a donut? Temporary one, don't drive over 50 miles per hour and don't go more than 50 miles distance on it. Is it that? Or is it an actual real tire? Do you have anything that can blow up a tire? I don't mean blow up, I mean reinflate. Whether it's a can of green stuff, which is what they call, it's aerosol with a gooey sort of stuff in it. You inject it in the tire, if you got a flat tire, and it gives some air pressure, and the green stuff on the inside eventually will find the hole and plug it. Now, what I'm saying right now, I know, because people have told me, that sounds like a lot. There was a time when that was normal for us. We grew up knowing how to change a tire. We grew up knowing how to jumpstart a battery. And some people still think, and I'm not making fun of anybody for this, that the only way to jumpstart a battery is you need another car with jumper cables, and you don't. They have devices out there now, and we recommend some. We have links for them in our course and all. We like the brand Noco, but these are devices, they're made to jumpstart batteries. They've got a little plug-in, a hot and a negative. Put that on your battery, hit the button that says turn it on, and go turn the key. It is as simple as that. And people oftentimes won't invest in it. What they invest in is AAA. All right? In other words, a lot of our preparedness is call somebody else. Right? That's what a lot of our preparedness is. It's call somebody else. And I'm a fan of that if you can do that. But I'm also a bigger fan of having an idea of handling it yourself in case phone service is bad, battery's dead, GPS goes down, you don't know how to get somewhere, do you have a map? I think I showed you all last night. I've got an atlas in my backpack. I've got a larger atlas, redundancy rule, in my suitcase in the hotel. I was in Indiana one time, Fisher, Indiana, getting ready for a talk this night, and the lights went out in the hotel. It was evening time, it was around winter time, so it was around 5:30, it was already getting dim out there, starting to get dark. Lights went out. And right away, my thought was, power outage, EMP attack, China. No, I wasn't thinking that. No, I wasn't. No, I didn't go that far. But I was thinking, I wonder, could be localized, could be weather issue, could be someone hit the wrong switch, which we hear about that sometimes, right? Or the poor guy in Hawaii that hit the alert that a missile was coming in from North Korea a few years ago. Remember that? A couple years back, right? It was about 4 years ago, I think. I think that guy lost his job. You know, that sort of thing happens. People make mistakes, and there are problems with that. So, yeah, before I finish the story, yes, ma'am.
What did you pull out your flashlight?
I did pull out my flashlight. She's like, pull out your flashlight? I had it right there. Yeah. But I looked out the window, and I looked towards the city. I was right on the edge of town, and I looked towards to see, is there light bouncing off the sky at this point? Is it regional, or is it right here in the hotel? It was just in the hotel. But you know what was great about those couple of moments there? There was no panic. There was no concern. Even if my mind said, well, what if it is out? I'm not worried. Why? Because I have things. Mindset. One of the most important things about self-defense, by the way, is your mind. Your number one self-defense weapon is your brain. It's not your firearm, it's not your pepper spray, it's not your fist, it's not your front kick, it's not your Bruce Lee. Whoa! Boing! It's not that. It's none of that. It's your mind. Yes, sir.
Winning the fight without fighting.
Winning the fight without fighting. That's it. That's exactly it. I'll give you a perfect example. I was giving a talk down in Florida on this. FBI agents there. Never comfortable when someone comes up and says, hi, I'm with the FBI. After your talk. And he did it that way on purpose. Hi, I'm with the FBI. Okay, why are you here? Well, I'm Catholic, and I heard you were in town. I wanted to see you. Tell you, man. So he's there with his wife, and he said, oh yeah, he says, you know, we're keeping track on the mosques down here. We're watching this and that stuff I'd been talking about. This was about 8 years ago, maybe. And his wife says, yeah, and I work at a hospital for mentally challenged and so forth, and emotionally disturbed and all this. And I said, okay. She says, I'm gonna tell you a story about self-defense. She said, I was on an elevator, the door opens up at the hospital, and this guy gets on, very big. And the way she described it, she says, I'm looking up to him like this. He's a huge guy. She's not very big, she's about this tall to me, right? She said, I'm looking up to him, big guy. He gets on, nods to me, he stands next to me. Stand there, and door's closed. Scary place, be in a metal box with someone that you feel potentially there's some weird vibe coming from. And she said, as soon as the doors closed, he turned and looked at me, his whole body squared up with her, and he started to tell me what he was going to do to me. And she said, I was terrified. And all I could think was, there's no way to go toe-to-toe with this guy. Now, she could have gouged the eyes and throat punch and kicked the groin. She could have gone for that. But at this point, he's just I'm going to this and that. And he was getting all on top. And she's like, oh no. First thing she did, she looked at him, she looked down, and she said, I have to tell you something. I love your shoes. And his reaction was, what? Right there, she broke what's called the OODA loop. OODA. It can be used for good or bad. Buddy of mine who was an F-18 fighter pilot back in the first Gulf War would talk about it. OODA loop. Oh yeah, you observe the situation, you orient yourself to the situation, you decide what you're going to do, and then you act. Observe, orient, decide, act. Bad guys do it too. They're ready to throw the ambush on you, right? And they're thinking, they're watching, they're waiting for you. They're watching you ladies. You know the number one place that women are assaulted in this country? Predominantly, grocery store parking lots. If a man wants to abduct a woman, that's a good place because they know you're coming out of the store and you're distracted because you got stuff. And so that's one of the number one places. Up there on the list too is office parking lots, because a lot of times women are leaving the office late, they're leaving alone, they walk to parking lot alone, they got to park back, away from the business and everything. And the third place is women's bathrooms. And no worry now, because men aren't allowed in women. Well, anyway, right? Crazy, insane the way we are right now with this kind of stuff. So they'll watch, because you come out and they're waiting and they see, okay, there she is. The car's parked in a good spot. It's not under a light at nighttime. Park under a light if you can. Try to be close to the door. Ladies, if you have a sense that there's something not right as you're going to your car, go right back in, walk up to someone who works there and say, can someone walk me to my car? Don't feel comfortable. I think there might be somebody out there. Oh, but Doug, I'll feel funny if who cares? Honestly, really? I'm sorry to be so adamant about it. I'm trying to make a point though. Honestly, ladies, don't get into that. Well, I'll feel stupid if something's not this. live with that. Better to live with that than to have to deal with something that might happen. True story of a woman pulls up to a gas station. She pumps gas. She goes back in the day before we had all the machines, right? And she had to go in and pay for it. So she pumps the gas. She goes in to pay for it. Or either she may have pulled up and got in to go get snacks before, whatever. She goes in, but she didn't lock her car door. So when she goes in, the cashier, when she comes up to the cashier, he says, hey, by the way, I just called the police because when you came in, some guy just got in the back seat of your car. So they called the cops and waited inside. Cops pulled up and arrested some dude in the back seat of her car. Okay, so bad guys looking to do the ambush, they're observing, they're orienting themselves to it, they decide when, and then they act. This guy turns to her on the elevator, I'm into this. He's observing, he's orienting now, he's deciding, and before he could act, she breaks it in his mind by saying, those shoes. And then she went on. I told him over and over, I know accessorizing. I'm a woman. Those shoes, I don't know where you got them. I'd love to get them for my husband, but this is incredible. You look great, the ensemble, everything's just working for you. It really is. She says, I'm going on and on and on, waiting for the elevator to stop at the next floor and then the door to open. And the whole time he's going, what the are you talking about, woman? What do you mean my shoes? He was bothering him because he couldn't get back to what he was focused on. The door opened at the next floor. She shot out of that elevator. She won by not fighting. Your number one weapon is your brain. If anybody saw the Karate Kid movies, do you remember the episode maybe where Daniel-san is doing the whoo and the big hook thing comes flying by, whoo, right? And Mr. Miyagi says, the best block, Daniel-san, is to not be there. So don't put yourself in circumstances and situations where you can be harmed or hurt. But what we do without a prepping mindset, when I say prepping, understanding what I'm talking about. It's not the run for the hills and camo paint and I'm burying stuff in the ground. It's not that. You would do that, that's fine, it's up to you. I believe in the integrated. That's our approach, is integrated. So when I'm back in Texas, I don't fly with my sidearm, my pistol, but when I'm back in Texas, I'm concealed carrying, I got extra magazine, I got my pocket knife, I got my flashlight, I got my rosary, and I have my scapular. So I got the spiritual and the natural covered. That's my integrated day-to-day life. That's my everyday carry, EDC. Then, of course, you got your wallet and your cell phone and things like that. But integrating a prepping mindset into our day-to-day. And why do that? Because one simple step of being better prepared can save lives. It can even save your soul. One of the best spiritual preparations we can make is to do with St. Bernard, I think it's Bernard of Siena, if I'm not mistaken, who said, the number one tenet of the Christian faith is to avoid the near occasion of sin. Because you won't sin if you're not in the occasion of it. Best block, not be there. And so avoiding the occasion, which means you keep your head on a swivel. And you're spiritually paying attention to what's going on around you. Because I guarantee you without a doubt, as the spiritual masters and leaders have told us over the years, the demons are roaming around, as Scripture says, looking like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. I forget what saint said it. It's as if we are this castle, and the demon is constantly roaming around the wall of the castle, looking for the slightest crack in the wall. And the moment he finds the crack, he starts viciously tearing at it until he gets enough of a hold that he can get in there or get his whole self through it. That's constantly happening. What the church teaches is that we are constantly under the attack, world, flesh, and devil. Constantly, world, flesh, and devil. People who don't think we're in spiritual warfare are not paying attention to what's going on in the world. We are all under it. Father Chad Ripperger, exorcist, said on our podcast once, U.S. Grace Force podcast, become big fans of it, subscribe to it, share it. Okay, when you do that, actually, it helps the algorithms, and YouTube will, and Rumble, these platforms will promote it and recommend it more to other people when people like and share and become subscribers. It only raises the bar, and then other people have a chance to see it. That being said, Father Chad Ripperger on one episode said this: the devil is not behind every rock, and he's not behind every tree, but he's pretty much behind every other rock and every other tree. In other words, you can't attribute everything to him, but you can attribute a lot. The demons, have access to our desktop, think computer, and the files on the desktop. So what we do in our lives, we are putting in those files. The demons can't read our minds, but they pay attention to our behavior. And they can double-click that Open it up. Oh yeah, this is when she said this, did that. Oh, then there was the gossip, and here was the lust. That was the greed. That's when they lied. That's when they flipped off that guy in this parking lot for, oh yeah, we can. And then they'll start inserting those memories sometimes in our mind. Oh, remember in your marriage? Anybody married longer than a week knows this. When you got into that one argument, and it was because of that thing that was said, and for whatever reason, that one day when he came in the room and said that to you, ladies, all of a sudden you remembered something from a long time ago when you were upset about it, and you turned and said, what? And that look and that tone made him go, I remember that from that time. Oh yeah? Anybody been through that before? Like tonight, on the way over? Yeah. How many arguments we've been in our marriages? I've been married 33 years. How many arguments we've been in our marriages where an hour later you look back and go, okay, there were like 18 places here we could have cut this off. But those demons, once they see us getting into it, they're like, oh, this is good. We just got to remind them of this, remind her of that. Tell him, remember when this happened? Oh, because she never, you never this. Oh, yeah, well, you always this. You're never supposed to say always and never in an argument, and yet we almost always never abide by that law, something like that. Right? And the demons are excellent at reminding us of these things because they have access to our files and they roam around like roaring lions looking for someone to devour. And we have got to be best block, not be there. And we have got to have our head on a swivel. We've got to break their OODA loop even. And the moment somebody comes in and says, yeah, I'm going to cut you off. That's my parking space. And you say, hey, God bless you. I'm going to say a prayer for you. You know, I don't want to. I'm going to say a prayer for you. All right. And that right there, the demons are like, what? Come on. The guy ticked you off. Why don't you respond to him? Because I know that's not right. We did a film recently with BRC, BR Coalition Productions, called Doomed to Repeat It. I recommend you watch it. It's a documentary we did. It's about an hour long. Doomed to Repeat It. It's on our YouTube channel, BR Coalition YouTube channel. Very simple. And you'll find it there, free to watch. We had people fund it for us, and it's out there now. We interviewed people like Dr. Peter McCullough. If you're familiar with him, the COVID guy, right? We interviewed Dr. Joe Lepetsky, who's a psychologist who works with Father Chad Ripperger and helps vet out situations to determine whether someone is truly possessed or whether it's just more psychological, emotional. And several others. Jason Jones, who's a human rights activist, good Catholic filmmaker and all, and some other people. And what we did with Dr. Joe Lepetsky is ask him how, because the essence of the film is this. How do tyrants use fear to oppress and manipulate us? You know, like when they say, oh, you've got to leave your groceries outside for 3 days because there could be something clinging to the sack, the bag, wipe it down. Yeah, I bought ice cream, I left it in the garage for 3 days. That was a problem. You know, fear, 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 fear. You have in your brain, everybody does, something called the amygdala gland. The amygdala gland is about the size of your thumbnail. And if you drew a line like right through here and right through here, roughly, that's where you'd find it. Base of the skull back in here, okay? And you got a prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the main area, as Dr. Joe Lepetsky points out, where the thought process, the rational thinking happens. The amygdala gland is the fight or flight gland. Something happens, oh, it's a good thing, God made it. It's what makes us go, gotta get out of the way, go, right? That's the amygdala gland. It's doing its job. But the amygdala gland also reacts when it feels like you're being attacked. And the prefrontal cortex is a little slower at catching up to the amygdala. You ever hear the term, the expression, when you get angry, count to 10. Because as you count to 10, you're giving your rational part of your brain time to catch up to the anger, frustrated part, the amygdala. And he said this happens all the time. Fear, 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 fear. Prefrontal cortex is saying, hey, hold on a second, let's think about this. But the fear is saying, no, we got to do this right now. We got to get excited. We got to get anxious. Cortisol kicks in. The brain gets overwhelmed. You get frustrated and stressed. You need time for the cortisol to wash away, for things to heal itself up. You also need time to pause and not let that fight or flight gland dominate. And one example he gave is this. Married couple. Husband's in the kitchen doing something. She walks in, looks over and says, what are you doing that for? And all his reaction is the tone that she's saying it and questioning what he's doing. And we don't know. She may have just stubbed her toe right around the corner. She might be in pain. She might be upset over something, have a terrible headache. But she sees it. She questions it. Hey, what are you doing that for? And his reaction is, amygdala, I'm being attacked. What's going on here? What do you mean? Her reaction, I don't like your tone of voice. Well, I don't like what you said. Face changes, head starts to tilt, brow starts to come in. What? She's like, you know what? Oh, here we go, body posture. Amygdala glands on both of them are having a heyday. Rational thinking's going, hey, slow down here, wait a minute, this is not going to go well. You two should remember what happens when you let this do this. We know this, don't we? We're married long enough. So the idea of being prepared even works here, by being prepared in the way we communicate. I kind of went off on a little moment there about the brain and how it functions, but I wanted to draw out the reality that our brains are very powerful when it comes to a crisis moment or a threat of some sort, and if we haven't processed in advance and prepared in advance how we're going to deal with a crisis or a threat, a lot of times we panic. There's a color code system that some retired Marine officer put out back in the 60s, I believe, and I forget the name of who he was. And the color code is basically, it expresses a color code based on our reaction to a crisis of some sort. It's white, yellow, orange, and either red or black, depending on which one you see online. I like the one that has black as the last one, but we've gone with red in our BREP course because that's more common. So I'm going to go with that. But there's a fifth one, we'll call that one black. So white, yellow, orange, red, black. White, oblivious. I'm oblivious to things. I'm walking through life like this. Hey, man, I'm walking through life like this. I'm on a street, and I just stop in the middle. I'm walking down an airport. Has this ever happened to anybody? Airport, shopping mall, grocery store. You're in a hurry. You're trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to get to the next gate for my flight, whatever. Someone's walking like this, and they just stop. And you about run into them. It's like, hey, pal, this isn't your airport. Okay, just step to the side. You know? You ever heard the term, I get road rage walking behind people? I mean... And it's because sometimes people are not thinking because we're living in white. We're living in this moment. True story, college-age girl walking down a street in New York City on her phone, fell in an open manhole. The family tried to sue the city. The city said, we had orange cones all around it. We were working on it. The men just turned for a moment. She didn't even see the orange cones because she was so focused on her phone. Another true story. Teenage girl, 15, 16 or so, standing on a street corner, red light, cars going by. Younger brother right next to her, she's on her phone, all of a sudden, for whatever reason, she thinks it's good to go, she steps out, gets hit by a car and killed. Living in this realm of white. We're just lost. The light, People do that when it comes to safety too. And you know what I hear when it comes to that is people will say a lot of times, I just don't want to live in fear, Doug, so I don't want to think about that stuff. Some of you have had the conversations with your family. You've gone to your family and tried to tell them, we should be concerned about this, 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 and this. Oh, don't talk to me about that. It's too depressing. It's too heavy. I just can't handle it. That's like saying Category 5 hurricane right off the coast, just about to hit. Nope, don't want to hear about it. It doesn't change the fact that the hurricane is right off the coast. Right? People, I don't want to, China, Taiwan, nope, don't want to pay attention to that. No, how about praying a rosary so it doesn't happen? You know, World War III. Oh, no, it's just too depressing to think about it. Yes, ma'am.
Some of my friends say, if you focus on it, you're focusing on the negative, you're going to draw the negative.
Yeah. That's kind of new agey. To say if you focus on the negative, you're going to draw the negative.
It's awareness.
It is awareness. Yeah.
And I tried to say that.
Yeah. And you have the same look on your face right now that I've had and that many others have had. You're like, oh, come on. Look, I care about you enough to let you know. And they're like, no, I don't want to hear about it. You know, teenage girls who don't want to hear when mom and dad say, be careful, check the back seat of your car, park under a street light. Okay, make sure you call me when you're there. Oh, mom, it's not that big a deal. Would you just stop it? You know, you get this sort of thing, right? And so I started coming up with stories once in a while until I was told, you can't keep bringing these stories up because you're scaring the kids. It's like, well, but they're all ready. They're all prepared. They all know how to fight though, right? Now my daughter, who's 30 and has 3 of her own kids, is saying to me regularly, I get it now, Dad, because I have kids now. Right? It's what love does. Love tells people and warns them. Now, obviously, the way we convey the message has a lot to do with it. You know, so when we had family gatherings, everybody sit down. I got 18 stories to tell you how bad things are. That's not the way to go about it. All right? You got to weave it in a little bit here. You got to tie it a little bit here. Bring a little humor in and have a lot of ice cream. Okay? That's always my way of going about it. So people live in this white code area of just everything is, I'm just not gonna, it's not that big a deal. Then there's yellow. Yellow is situational awareness. I'm aware of the situation. I'm watching my peripheral. It's not panic though. I said this last night, and for the newcomers here tonight, there is a difference between urgent and anxious. I am not anxious about this stuff at all. I'm really not. And one of the reasons is because I work on being prepared. Because I have a lot of flashlights, okay? Am I worried about darkness? No. Why? Because I have flashlights for the natural darkness, and I have a rosary. I know where the Blessed Sacrament is. I know where Father is if I need confession. I have that for the spiritual darkness. I have blessed salt in my bag and holy water as well. And I sprinkle it in my hotel rooms. Oftentimes I'll put it in the air vents of my cars that I rent, which is great because it helps the gas mileage. I don't know how, but it does. So I'm not anxious, but I do feel urgent about things. Why? Well, because you turn on the news and you just watch 30 minutes of it, get some of the headlines. Get an app that gives you the headlines. Pay attention when a transgender lawmaker in Minnesota wants to remove language from the Human Rights Act that in any way says that pedophiles are bad. If it's an anti-pedophile statement, we've got to remove it. That's just their sexual orientation. Oh no, it doesn't change the law at all. Those kids will still be protected. We just don't want to in any way stigmatize them. You're scratching your head thinking, wait, hold on, what? And if you say, no, we can't do that, you're a hater. You're racist. You're a bigot. How dare you? And you Catholics especially. Why? Because our church has official policy called Teachings of the Faith on this stuff. So we are not wise, which is a really nice way of saying we're foolish. We're not wise, right? It's all on how you convey the message. We're not if we ignore what's happening. Urgent, but not anxious. So head on a swivel, yellow, situational awareness is my mindset of, I'm just paying attention to stuff. When I sit in a restaurant, I want to make sure, unless everybody with me are men who can handle something, I'm going to sit in, call it the alpha seat. And that just basically means I'm going to sit in a position where I can, at least 180 degrees, pay attention to what's going on. Unless I know who's sitting across from me and I can trust them too.
Face the door.
Towards the door. I don't want to hear boom, 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 and turn around and someone has just come in the door. I want to be best I can. And my wife knows this, my kids know this. When I'm in church, we talked about this last night, I will sit at the end of a pew, normally near a door, if the pews are available for that. Because I want to be in a situation where if something happens, I'm not going to be, Rambo, I'm going to take care of it. I am not that kind of guy. I'm not. I don't want stuff to happen. That's why my self-defense posture is this first. This indicates, let's calm down. Let's get off this ledge here. Okay, this says I'm ready to fight. This also, I'm ready to fight, but I'm trying to send a message psychologically, right? Trying to change the OODA loop here. But I want to be ready for that. That's yellow. Yellow is I'm walking through life. Oh, manhole, how did I know? Because I was looking, right? Yellow should be how we all drive, and yet we don't, because a lot of people, we drive like this, right? Have you ever done this? Oh, I've done this. Talk about temptations. Driving down the road, this person is like, are they okay? They're just, and finally, oh, I can get in the next lane now. Okay, check, go over, look over, and they're doing this. That's why they're doing 15 miles under the speed limit. And you see this all the time. So we know people are not driving in yellow, situational awareness. It's one of the most dangerous things you can do, though. My mom always said, when you drive a car, Doug, it's like walking around with a loaded shotgun. It's that dangerous. You've got to be on the money. You got to know what you're doing. All right, third is orange. Orange is, oh, by the way, with yellow, I should say this too. If I'm out in public and I got to make a phone call or I got to tie my shoe, I don't stop in the middle of the aisle. I'm going to back up against the wall. That way, I'm covered here and I don't got to worry about behind me. Either someone springing an attack on me or accidentally running into me. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to get hurt. It's just a good thing, a charitable thing to do. So got to make a phone call, back up against the wall, check something, send a text, make a quick call, pay attention, tie my shoe. I'm going to do it right here. My eyes are still looking peripherally. I'm not just focused right here. I'm not going through life like this. I'm going through life like this. That's yellow. Just a smart way to live, spiritually and naturally. Orange, something happens. Like if we're all in here right now and all of a sudden we hear somebody screaming in the hall out there. Now we're all focused on something. So orange is a ramping up. Now you got a crisis that looks like it might be unfolding. Now your attention is drawn to it. What happens at that point is we assess the situation. Naturally, you look, what's going on? What's going on? She's screaming. What's she screaming about? Did she just win the lottery? Or is someone trying to choke her? Could be anything in between. So what do? Oh, we're looking and we're checking it out. Now you're focused on it. Now the people that have any kind of prepared mindset, and what I mean by that is, they've taken time to train in any way, and they're also, that wasn't me. Someone's phone just made a noise, and it wasn't mine, but it sounded like mine. Someone's got my notification sound on their phone. Interesting. All right, so something's happening. Let's say someone is being attacked. People who have an idea, like law enforcement, military, or guys like myself or others who just really tried to be prepared in some way, and I know some of you guys are that way, men and women too, right? My daughter's that way, trust me, right? She sees something, she'll get in on it and pay attention and see if she can do something, right? If you're trained at all, you look at, in the orange moment, you look at the situation and you assess it and you decide if you should do something. And if so, what can I do? I'm in a parking lot, pushing the cart, putting groceries back in the car. I hear someone screaming, help, help. I look over. I'm going to check the situation. I'm going to head over quickly. I might be pulling the phone out. I might be getting ready to video, because if bad guys, I can say, hey guys, you're all on video right now. You're on video. You want to get out of here now? Or I might be saying, yeah, 911. Yeah, this is who we got here. I'm saying that loud enough so they can hear me. That's psychological warfare right there. You're letting them know, yeah, here they are. All right. Why am I doing this? This isn't how we make calls anymore, Ray. It's like this. Anyway, we used to hang up, boom. Now it's like, ugh. Yeah, anyway. So orange is something's happening. Maybe it's a medical situation. Now you got to jump into the situation. This happened to me back in Lincoln. I moved down to Texas. I had to go back up to Lincoln. We're still trying to sell the house. So I go back up. I fly back up. I got the rental car. I'm in a grocery store parking lot in an area that I used to live. I go and I get in my car, and I see out of the corner of my eye, I'm getting ready to start the car, and in the corner of my eye, I see a guy going by, and he just drops right in front of my vehicle. And I thought, whoa. Right away, I'm looking around thinking, all right, check the corners, man. Is this a friend of mine who saw me playing a trick on me? Or something weird going on? So I open the car door, look left when you get out. Don't just open the door to get out, look. Look. In case someone's right there, ready to go clunk in the back of your head. Open the door, look, I come around, I look, and there's an elderly gentleman lying face down in the parking lot, blood coming out of his head. And a minivan right there by his side that had stopped. What happened was, he was hustling along, he got tripped up on his own feet, and he fell right when the van was going by. His head hit the rear wheel well of the van and cut. He had a flap of skin the size of the palm of my hand, I'm not exaggerating, hanging there, blood running out. He's all delirious. The guy gets out of the van, he's some young guy standing there in shock. I'm like, you're a big help. So I get out of the guy, I said, sir, hold on, stay still. And a lady comes running over. I said, keep him still, I'll be right back. And I ran into the store, went right to who looked like a manager right around the corner. We got somebody who just fell. You got to call 911. We need some towels. We need some ice. We need it right away. And I ran back out. She's like, okay, here we go. She's on the radio, right? Oh, radio, that's phone. That's old phone. This is radio. I'm sorry. She's on the radio, and I go out there. Sure, we got help coming right now. Boom. Someone comes running out. They got a stack of towels. Some employee of the store running out. Someone's bringing a bag of ice. And by now, a lady comes over and says, "Okay, I'm a nurse." I said, "Okay, we got blood here. This, that. Okay, put the towels on. Apply pressure. Calm them down." People standing around, pulling their phones out, because that's what we do. We film these things, right? And I said, "Sir, what's your name?" Trying to get him to talk, trying to get him to breathe, calm down. Nurse is working on the wound. I said, "Sir, do you have a phone? Do you want to call your wife?" "Yes, I do." "Okay, can I reach into your back pocket?" That's where he said it was. I said, "Okay, I'm going to reach into your pocket now." I'm saying this loud so everybody can hear, right? I'm not, getting weird here. He says, "Okay, but when you reach in there, make sure that's all you grab." I said, "Okay," so the guy's got a sense of humor. I pull out the phone. I unlock it. He gives me the code. I unlock the phone. I call his wife. "Hello," we'll call her, I don't know, Marcia. "Marcia, your husband's here." "Oh, what's going on?" "Well, he ran to the parking lot. He tripped. He fell. He's bleeding. We got 911 on the way." Her reaction, "All right. Okay. Bye." The phone down. All right? It's one of those moments. I'm not trained in medical, but what I know I can do is at least calm a situation and try to help create some sort of flow to the situation and not friction to the moment. So by just kind of saying, "Okay, you do this, you watch this, you who were driving the van, just stand there in shock like you were already doing," right? I mean, you've got to try to do something. That's orange. combined with red. Red is something's happened and now you're engaged. That's where you go from orange, something happened, assess the situation, can I do something? Yes, I can. Now it's red, now I'm engaged. The last one would be black, and that's not on the original code that the Marine put out, but it's been added by some later, and that's panic. Paralyzed, like the guy who was driving the van. He just stood there, oh, I don't know what to do, right? And that's where a lot of people go. They go from white right up quickly to the black panic moment because they don't do anything in between. They don't live in a situational awareness mindset. They don't do any training or preparation to be able to assess a situation like orange. They don't have any skills to be able to do anything like red. We live that way, problems can happen. There was a kid, 13 years old, he was a Boy Scout, and he was always constantly pushing his parents, we gotta have fire drills in the house, Mom, Dad, I gotta have fire drills in the house, fire drill in the house. They do it all the time. All right, then the fire broke out in the house. And the kid didn't know what to do. They say they thought he panicked, and they found him dead in the closet. He didn't get out the window like he did in the drills. He just climbed into the closet and panicked and died there from smoke inhalation. So it's one thing to train, it's another thing to have the attitude, yeah, no matter what, I'm going to be good. I will stand here before you and tell you I do this stuff all the time. I do it for a living. I do it online. I talk about it everywhere. In fact, I had a conversation with Mike Jones from Ave Maria Radio today, and he's thumbs up on me creating little 1-2 minute radio spots to put on the air that will encourage people in little pieces of the puzzle to help people be motivated and think about these little things. He says, yeah, let's do it. Let's help people. Send me some samples. Let's see if we can make this work. So that's the next step. I'll do some samples, send it to him, and we'll see if it gets on the air. Okay. I do this for a living. I don't for a moment take for granted that I'm going to be fine no matter what happens. I don't. My mindset is I'm going to try my best and I'm going to pray like crazy, and if something happens, please, Lord, give me the strength, the courage, the wisdom to do something the right way and not in a way that creates more problem. Because yeah, in a crisis situation, one of the reasons a lot of people don't engage in stuff is they don't want to get their hands dirty in case it doesn't go right. And of course we live in a society now where people will sue you for walking the wrong direction, saying the wrong thing, deplatform you because you mentioned something about COVID that sounded anti-vax. Oh no, take them off. Destroy their platform. They're terrible people. They said that they questioned the election. They must be potential domestic threats to our country. This is where we are now, and so people oftentimes don't want to get involved in anything because I don't want to deal with the fallout. That's not a good mindset either. It's a dangerous mindset to be a faithful Christian, to look at a problem and say, I need to do something. If someone is hurting, I need to try to help. So what's the best thing we can do before that moment comes? If it does, in fact it does, be prepared and train along the way. Firearms are one of those areas. Talk about mindset. People who don't train with firearms, but carry them. I don't want to be near you in a crisis. I really don't. And I say that with all respect possible. But I'm going to tell you a couple stories. One in particular. It's a guy in Texas outside Fort Worth. Small church, full, Episcopal, evangelical, whatever type church. He's all geared up. He comes up. He starts shooting at the church from the outside. Pop, 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 pop. Then he goes to his truck and he starts reloading some stuff, and then he goes inside the church. Now, I advocate strongly for having a couple guys in the parking lot during any church service, whatever your denomination. I think it should be in school parking lots too. The Nashville shooter situation, do you know what would have really eliminated a lot of that? If you had a couple of two-man team guys out there, two-man teams, you got someone watching your back all the time. And their job is simply to observe and then step in if they need to. You don't even have to be carrying. Just carry pepper spray at least though, or maybe a taser or something, right? That you can do something if you have to. When the video camera shows the van pull up and the trans girl, she's a girl once, thought she was a guy. When that pulled up and she got out, she had 2 long rifles and a handgun. She wasn't concealing them. If you'd have had a two-man team walk in the parking lot and their only job is paying attention, every vehicle that walks in, they just eyeball, they make sure they know who it is, they just give a look, that's all. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. That alone right there can deter bad guys, by the way. In fact, the law enforcement say that what they found in her place was a second location she was going to attack, but you know what she actually wrote in there? Too much security. That's why she didn't do it. You picked a school because no security, really. They have cameras. You know what cameras do for you? They show you what happened. That's it. But if that camera shows you real time and you don't have a reaction to what's going on real time, why do you have the camera except to show the police later what happened? So the camera shows her pull up, the camera shows her shooting out the window of the door. There's a red flag for you. I talked about some of this last night. Having two-man team in the parking lot. So here you got the church, same thing. Guy shoots at the church. Two-man team would have dealt with that immediately. And inside the church, you wouldn't have had the carnage that you had. And what you had was the guy walks in the church, and he comes in from the back, and he starts, pow, 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 pow. And you know what everybody did in the church? Oh, you know what our term is, right? It's run, hide, fight. So they couldn't run because they're in the church, so they just hid. They ducked down the pews. As he walked up and down, reloaded his magazine, 26 people dead, and many more wounded. Then he left, got in the car and drove away. Cross the street, down the street, lady, did I tell this story last night? Lady, a girl, forgive me, goes to her father, teenage girl, Dad, he's an NRA instructor. Dad, he's on camera talking about this in the news. Shooting at the church across the street. He goes and gets his gun. That's kind of interesting on the news. He said, so I opened my safe, because we got to make sure we say that it was in the safe. Politically correct. And I took my magazine and I quickly loaded my magazine. Sure you did. No. You probably just grabbed your gun with the magazine in it, okay? Chambered or not, all you do, grab that gun, rack it and move, or just magazine, rack it and move. Loads it? I doubt it, because he was able to get out, get in a car, and chase the guy. So he's chasing the guy, and I forget how it ended up. The guy goes off the road, cops get to him. 26 dead, though. All right? Nobody did anything according to the report that I heard. And maybe I don't know the details of it. My understanding is that no one jumped him, no one threw anything at him. Okay, you got hymnals and pews here? All right? Throw them at him. Right? Okay, guys walking around shooting, men, someone, tackle him. Just tackle him and start hitting him in the head. Right? Start using your elbows. Start clawing out his eyes. Do something! Right? But it's mindset. And our mindset is, oh no! And that's what a lot of us do. Now, I'm adding drama for effect here because I'm trying to make the point. We have death happening because people are afraid and their mindset is lousy. And that should not be the case, especially for us men. Do you know what we men really have in us, I believe? King David DNA. Oh, if we're God-fearing men, and you're here, so you must be good men. We're here. We're trying to be holy, trying to get to God. A God-fearing man that sees a Goliath and says, I don't think so. Goliath's mouthing off. You know how long Goliath was doing this? It was like, 30 or 40 days. He was coming out twice a day, beating his chest. Bring me somebody. And finally, David shows up. Hey, I got some food. Dad sent me. What's going on? Right? Hey, what's going on? Shepherd boy. Hey, David, what are you doing here? His brothers get on his case. What are you doing here, man? You just want to get in on stuff. You're a punk kid. You shouldn't be here. Right? The brothers giving him a hard time. No, hey, the guy's mouthing off. Hey, the guy's making fun of God's army. The guy's making fun of God. Somebody, dude, you can hear David probably thinking, this isn't right. Someone's got to do something. Saul's worried about it. He's like, oh man, this is really looking bad. Philistines over there mocking us, and here we are, God's army. And David says, well, what happens for the guy who takes down Goliath? Well, Saul's going to give him his daughter. She good looking? You know that went through his mind, right? Any honest man is going to go, she cute? She nice? Okay? Right? Anyway, so David steps up. They would have put armor on him. And David says, no, I'm not trained in that way, but I am trained in another way. David was trained. We look at the David and Goliath moment sometimes as, oh, and then God brought David in, and God used David to take down Goliath. He did, but David cooperated. When David went and picked up those 5 stones and walked up towards Goliath, you don't think for a moment David's not thinking, oh, I have done this so many times. He didn't pick it up and go, I hope I can figure out how to operate this thing. That's not what he did. He picked up those stones knowing what to do with them. Now, Goliath was wearing body armor. His chest plate alone was estimated at 90 pounds, 90. Standard body armor today, 20 total, front and back plate, 20 to 30 pounds, depending on whether you got the full size 11 plate or 10-inch plate, whatever. It's not nearly what Goliath had. His helmet covered his head, and he had a lance, a spear, and the head of the spear was 15 pounds. Okay, this dude was strong. He was big. He was hardened. And David knew, I'm not going to penetrate the armor with this rock. I got to hit one spot right there. And he drove that rock. Actually, before he threw the rock, it's a great conversation. You got to read it if you haven't, or if you forgot it. Goliath's out there. Who is this? You send me a boy. What am I, a dog? Sticks and stones. What is this? He's mouthing off. He says, I will leave your flesh out here for the birds of the air and the animals of the ground. David's response, not, oh, dear Goliath, can we please talk about... No, David's response was, I don't think so. I'm going to leave your flesh out here for the birds of the air and the beasts of the ground and all the Philistine army. So David ramps up that talk. Talk about trash talk. Right? And Goliath's like, oh... And David the stones and lets that stone fly, and it states in Scripture that it embedded in his head, and he died from the stone when he's out. You imagine the Philistine army at that point? Oh no, wait a minute. That's our champion. He's out. That wasn't enough though. David didn't stop there. That was move one. When you got a self-defense scenario, don't just think move one. I'm going to kick him in the groin. And that's it? No, you got to have 2, 3, 4, and 5 ready to go. So David releases the stone, and when you read Scripture, it states how he began to rush upon Goliath. He started moving towards him. You can almost imagine him there. Israelis over here, Philistines over there. Oh, this is going to be good. David's saying, you will not mock God's army anymore. I have had it. God's had it. I'm here. This is not going to happen. Kid's got some moxie, right? And he lets that stone fly, and then he's moving. Hits Goliath, drops him. David comes upon him. He draws Goliath's sword. This is one of the most serious insults in any war, any fight. When you're going to do what David's about to do with Goliath's own sword, Philistines are looking at that going, oh yeah, this is adding insult to injury in the gravest way. Draws his sword and hacks off his head. And then you can imagine him holding it up as if to say, who's next? And it states in Scripture that he's carrying the head a little while later. He carries it into Saul's tent. We would look at that and think, this is a little strange. He cuts the guy's head off and he's carrying it around. This was the time. And what does God say about David? It is the only individual, the only person in the history of Scripture that this statement is made of. God says, David is a man after my own heart. So if you ever question whether or not God approves of David's behavior, right? In those circumstances, in that time, the way they lived, this worked. And David, of course, falls into sin with Bathsheba, and then he sets up Bathsheba's husband's death. Uriah puts him in the front of the battle where he was sure to die. So David had his issues, no doubt, but God still said, "This is my king, and this is the king that I blessed and ordained and had anointed here." And then later on, what do we hear about our Lord Jesus himself? Jesus, who is what? The son of David. He's in David's line because he is also a warrior. So when I say King David DNA, for us men especially, it is in us to fight against evil in whatever capacity it comes. Mindset, though. The mindset and the emotion has to be there for that. We men can't be the type of men that are like, I'm old and I'm decrepit and I hurt and I have injuries now. I'm going to tell you about a couple of my injuries. I have almost no meniscus in my right knee. It is thin as can be. They're telling me I need a knee transplant. I'm going to try stem cell therapy first. Ambiotic cord, right? All perfectly approved by the church. It's not in any way unethical. All right, I'm trying to find it. A guy who's going to give me a nice discount on it. He's a great guy and he likes the work that I do. He's going to try to help me with it. He's a great, kind of a good, solid, holistic doctor. I had an ACL tear on this one, as I mentioned last night, doing a self-defense training when a guy got a little carried away and he fell on the back of me while I was being stretched out with the other guys and you heard a pop. So ACL issue here, almost no meniscus here, shoulder issue from construction years ago, right? And of course, hair loss. This doesn't stop me from training. It happens to us, right? Here's my point. I'm 58 and I still work out. I worked out a little bit today. I work out 5 or 6 days a week. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Sometimes it's using resistance bands. Sometimes it's free weights. Sometimes it's on the treadmill. Sometimes it's just certain stretching gravity stuff. If you got a floor, and we all do, and you have a body, and you all do, you can exercise because gravity will help. You can do push-ups on a kitchen counter. I can't get on the floor and do push-ups. Then go to the counter in your kitchen while you're warming your food up in the microwave, right? And just knock out a few push-ups. Do it. Start moving, training. But I'm old and this and that. That's a young man's thing. You ever hear of the Knights of Malta? Talk about mindset. Knights of Malta, 1565. They held off 50,000 estimated Muslim Turks. They wanted to use Malta as a staging ground, the Turks did, so they could move into the rest of Europe and destroy Christianity. The Knights of Malta numbered approximately 800. They had about 9,000 militia made up of Spanish and Maltese. But the Knights of Malta were warrior monks. Their life was, we consecrate our lives to God and we train for battle. They held the island for about 5 or 6 months until reinforcements were finally arranged to come in because a lot of the kings and princes in Europe didn't want to expend and send men there. Roughly half the knights died. In the 3 main forts where the battles took place, one of the forts, they tell the story in great detail, although it would have happened in the others as well, of the knights being isolated. They could barely get out to the other forts. Resources coming in was difficult. They were under siege. These knights fought so determined that even if they lost an arm or a leg, they'd cauterize the wound, bandage them up, and then during a full-day battle or 2-day or 3-day long battle, a skirmish that was going on at length, the guys that were amputated would actually either drag themselves across the floor if they had to the ground, or they'd limp in and they'd bring wine or water or food, whatever they could to their other knights. Like they didn't say, I'm out of the fight because I lost an arm. I'm out of the fight because I lost a leg. Their attitude was, we're in this together. We just fight on. The head of the Knights of Malta at the time is a man, the Grand Master, Jean Lavalette. Jean Lavalette led the battle in Malta those 5 or 6 months. He himself engaged in battle several times, hand to hand. When the wall was breached at St. Miguel, however they pronounce it, the wall was breached, Muslims are pouring in, the knights jumped right in there, Lavalette jumped in and he's hacking away, and they had to pull him back because they didn't want their leader to go down, but he was in there fighting. He was 72 years old when this happened. I used to feel good about myself, and I'd say to my wife, what do you think, 45? Still looking good, nice, working out? She's like, okay. She used to tell me when I was 25 or 30, I'd say, still working out, sweetheart? She'd say, I'll be impressed when you're 40 and you're working out. Okay, all right, fine. I'm at 40. She's like, I'll be impressed when you're 50, right? Okay, fine. My wife's just having fun with me on that stuff, right? And then I read about John Lavalette, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm only 58. He was 72. Gentlemen, what excuses do we make why we don't train and get prepared? Because we'll pick up our phone and we'll call someone else. That's what a lot of it is. But I'm willing to bet, I don't care how old you are in this church right now, if some bad guy comes in and starts threatening and grabs father back there and puts a knife to his throat or starts waving a gun around, even you guys that are older and maybe not moving as fast as you used to, maybe you got a cane or even a wheelchair, I'll bet you anything, it's in your heart, the King David DNA, to engage the bad guy to help father or save someone else. On him like white on rice. Thank you, my friend. That's exactly it. And how old are you, sir?
71.
71. Almost as old as Lavalette. Good for you, man. And that's what we need from each other, too. You need to know that that's the kind of guy I am. I need to know that's the type of guy you are. Because if we ever end up in a situation where we are together in this, we're going to want to know we can count on each other. I don't care how well trained someone is. I want to know what your mindset is first. And from there, the training and everything else follows. Do you have the mindset that says, okay, I'm a sinner and I'm weak and I hurt and I got a bad knee and I got this, but you can count on me. Now from there, teach me, train me, instruct me. I'll do the same in the ways I can for you. Let's get it together in here first, and then everything else flows. It starts here, and then it makes the 12-inch drop to the heart. Once it hits the heart, now it's in the blood pattern, right? Blood flow, right? Circulation. Then it flows out to the body, and the rest of it starts doing things. People wait for the angelic injection. They're not worried about changing their mindset. It's the angelic injection. Doug, I'm praying for this, and it just doesn't happen. I want to exercise, but God hasn't given me the grace to do that. How's that going to look when he gives the... It's like, I'm exaggerating. It's like the injection of the angel. And then I'll be like, okay. And now I'm working out, right? Now I'm doing things. Men and women alike, we do it, right? I'd start preparing if God would give me the grace and tell me what to do. Well, maybe he's doing it through this. Right? Maybe because God works. I think I told the story last night of the aspirin. I'm driving across the state of Nebraska. 4-hour drive, right? And the priest looks at me. I had a bad headache. The newcomers, I'll tell you real quick. I drove across 4 hours, couple hundred, whatever, several hundred miles, state line of Colorado. I get out, my head's aching, terrible. The members in my ministry were unpacking the van. I went to priest. Good to meet you, Father. I got a terrible headache. Can you help me? He's like, he's got a special healing or a blessing. Maybe you're a healing priest and don't know it, right? Puts his head down, starts, let me think, Doug. Oh, he's praying. He's got something for me. Yes, Jesus is speaking to me. What's he saying? What's he saying? He's telling me to tell you that you need to take an aspirin, right? Right? It's a great story. And what he says to me then is, remember, God works through ordinary means. A lot of us struggle between two things, motivation and discipline. We get motivated, but we lack the discipline. If you're in a foxhole with somebody, especially you men, think about this. We're in a fight together. And we're in the foxhole together. Do I want you to be the type of guy that's like Ron, right? I don't want Ron to be like, oh, I'm so fired up about this war. Okay, because that fired up is going to die off. He's going to be like, I'm not fired about the war anymore. I'm tired of getting shot at, you know. I want Ron to be the type of guy that says, man, this really stinks, Doug. I don't want to be in this battle, right? But I know what to do. And you can count on me. That's what I want from Ron. That's what he wants from me. We want that from each other. I've heard soldiers say this, guys who've been in combat. My buddy Chuck, who 32 years EOD Navy, what did he say? He goes, oh, you don't want the guys that are out there all excited all the time. That has its place. I want you to be motivated when you leave these talks. Go home and think, okay, we got to do something. But it will fade very quickly, I promise you. Within a few days, it'll fade. We're all together. We're all like-minded. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And we're all in this. And then we go home and we separate out and we get alone and we start going, I don't know. Yeah, it'd take a lot of work to go look up a flashlight online. Streamlight. Oh, that's a lot of letters, you know? And then I got to hit add to cart. I got to enter in a credit card. That's like 16 digits plus the expiration date. You know, I mean, we find every reason to not do it because the discipline is lacking. It's the same thing with the exercise. I may have mentioned last night. Did I mention flow and friction last night? Let's do it tonight if I didn't for the newcomers. Create flow. Eliminate friction. You want to work out, you want to exercise, but your treadmill and your exercise bike has become a clothes hanger? That's friction. You're not going to get it done. You got to make it streamlined. Same with these other things. The mindset. How do we change the mindset? You simply have to do it. What's the key ingredient? What's the silver bullet? What makes that happen? You simply have to say it's got to get done. So my friend, he's 20 years younger than me. He's 37. He's about 20 years younger than me. He comes over almost every Wednesday, and works out with me in my garage. Steve's a great guy. He's a great friend. I call him little brother, right? 20 years younger. But I like to pick on him because he's 20 years younger. He's not nearly as strong, right? Now, I'm not bragging about strength. I'm not that strong. I used to compete in powerlifting, so I got a little bit hanging on there. But he doesn't work out that much. If you ever sees this, forgive me, Steve. I love you, brother. I do. But Steve, I pick on him a little bit, and I say, Steve, invest now. Yeah, but Doug, man, how do you do it? You know, you raised 5 kids, and you worked out, and you this, and you that. I mean, I'm tired, and you traveled, and you did that. How did you do it? And this is not a pat on the back. That's not what I'm doing. Promise. That's not what I'm doing. I looked at him, and I said, Steve, it just needs to get done. The mindset starts there. It needs to get done. I need more food. I got to go do it. I got to go to Costco or the grocery store and buy an extra case of canned soup. It needs to get done. I got to get water. I got kids. I got a wife. I got a husband, whatever your situation, ladies, and I got to make sure they got it. I don't know. It's got to get done. Mindset has to say, I got to get healthier. I got to get stronger. Yeah, but that takes, don't count the cost. It needs to get done. Yeah, write that on a sticky note and stick it on your mirror in your bathroom. When you wake up in the morning, you walk in there and go, it needs to get done. Oh, crap. All right, yes, it does, right? And start with the little things if you have to build to the big things. One of the little things is a very simple thing. Make your bed in the morning. It's from an old talk. That goes way back. But there's an admiral, former Navy SEAL admiral, who gave a talk at a university one time. And he said, start by making your bed. Because if the day goes lousy and you come home after a lousy day, at least you come home to a made bed, and that feels good. It's true, though, right? Right? How about the dishes on your counter? Like my wife and I, we just went away on a little trip, celebrated our 33rd anniversary last week. Before we left, before we go away on any trip, thank you, I appreciate that, yes. She has tolerated me this long, yes. So before we go on any trip, we clean up the kitchen, right? You get the garbage out, you put the dishes. Why? Because when you come home, you don't want to walk in and go, wow, how long, why is that crawling across the counter on its own? You know, what is it? Ooh, what is in the refrigerator? We should have cleaned this out before we left for a week. You know, basically you do it because you know that it actually creates order. Do you know what creates peace in your life? Order. You know who said that? St. Augustine. From order, you get peace. He's talking predominantly of God's order of things, living in the state of grace, the commandments, prayer life, and so forth. But when you live an ordered life, you get more peace than you can imagine. It's not going to be perfect, but even in the midst of a storm, a trial, if you know you're in a state of grace with God, you can endure it a lot better because there's peace in the heart in the midst of the trial because you've lived ordered enough to get to confession, to have a prayer life. If you've been praying the rosary, and I recommended it last night, you know, the spiritual component, we've got to bring that up again. Our Blessed Mother has recommended, no, she has told us she wants us to pray the rosary. How often? Every day. You want to bring peace to your life? Pray the rosary. Does it make everything perfect? No. Does it mean your kid's going to come back to the Catholic faith? Maybe not right away. Does it mean that your spouse is going to all of a sudden be on board with all your ideas and dreams and hopes and your crafts and your hobbies? Maybe not. But you'll find more peace in the midst of those disagreements if you pray rosary together. If you pray it together especially, but at least if you each pray. My wife and I pray rosary. Most of the time it's together when we're in the same town at the same time. I prayed mine today, had some adoration time earlier today, and prayed my rosary. She prayed hers, and then I'll call her when I get back to the hotel, and we'll say our other prayers. We have other prayers that we say together on the phone. We try to pray together every day, together at least, even on the phone, because we know that that order that brings the peace in our lives, even when she and I might not get along on this, that, or the other thing. Do you know what brings chaos? Disorder. It's a chaotic house, the disorder of not cleaning it. You know, those types of things. So the mindset of order bringing peace is also a very powerful way to understand preparedness. Preparedness is about thinking ahead enough to put the things in place, even microtasking. Basically, don't walk into your kitchen and go, I'm going to clean all these cabinets out right now. It's going to be chaos, right? So you start with one drawer. How about your car? Does anybody have the type, you might not want to admit it, do you have the type of car where the floorboard has only the good Lord knows what on it and how long it's been there? Coffee cups from 4 months ago, wrappers from 2 weeks ago, a hamburger in the wrapper from 2 weeks ago. I mean, I know people, hey Doug, I'll give you a ride. I open the door, where do I put my feet, man? It's like, can we shovel some of this stuff out, right? If you just clean your car. So I have this system in my Jeep at home. Anybody who rides with me knows this, and they kind of laugh at it. I'm not Mr. It's got to be perfect. I'm not that. I don't mind dirt on the floor. I don't mind that, right? I don't wash my Jeep hardly ever. It's a Jeep. They're not made to be washed, right? It's a Jeep Wrangler, I should say. Okay, it's not a Jeep Compass or a Jeep Liberty or nothing against those if that's what you have. It's a Wrangler, so it's got a lift kit and it's got bigger tires and it's made to be dirty. Okay, that's me. But when you get out of my Jeep, I always say, okay, grab the garbage, grab the wrappers. That's all. It's simple. I pull to a gas station, pumping gas. While the gas is pumping, I just quick look under the seat, grab this, grab that, and it takes all of 5 seconds because the system works. There's flow. The mindset is I'm prepared. The mindset is this is just kind of a simple way of being disciplined. And then there's much more peace when you get in my vehicle. And my wife likes it too because she gets in. It's always pretty clean. You take good care of this. Yeah. Her car on the other, no, I'm just kidding. She does pretty good with her car too. But isn't that funny? In our marriage, we know that. Like I don't want to ask who it is. Okay, Ron, who's the messy one? Who's the clean one? I'm not going to ask because I want you to have a good time on the way home talking. He's the messy one?
No, it's the kids.
Oh, the kids. So
They're the messy ones.
that's why the house looks this way. No. But what I'm saying is mindset in these little areas will advance even into the areas of taking the larger steps for preparedness. Because if we get these smaller things down on a day-to-day basis, and then I say to you, okay, here's some homework for you, hit the grocery store tonight, or tomorrow, or after the talk tomorrow, because I hope you're all coming tomorrow, because we're going to break down more detailed stuff. And here's some things you should get, and you can do it right away. It's going to cost you a little bit extra money, but not that much if you do it this way and that way and so forth. And you're thinking, oh, I can't even make my bed. And you want me, I can't even clean my truck out of my floorboard out of my car. And the dishes are never clean. And you want me to go, but yeah, these little pieces here will help you in this area here. Because what I'm talking about here is not even your gear, your equipment, and your training. It's what's going on in here and in here first. And that's always going to be your most important place to start. As it is with self-defense, your brain is your most important self-defense mechanism and weapon. Your mindset is your most important preparedness weapon, or factor, I should say. Because if your mindset is right, these other pieces will fall into place. And then the idea of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, year plus. All that starts to flow and make more sense. And it's not complicated to do. And tomorrow, again, we're going to break that. That is my notification. Whose phone is that? I love that. It's just a simple way. Yeah. Well, my phone's here, though. Yeah. Oh, my phone bilocates. Okay, anyway. Just like Padre Pio over here. Yeah. I was corrected last night. I know where he is now. Saw a man in a brown robe at a distance, and my eyes aren't the same. So what are you thinking? All right, I want to get questions and answers in here. The mindset piece. Also, real quick, man, before, I forgot one more thing. Emotional part of this as well. Very few things to say on that because they work very much like mindset. People are emotionally upset when they're not prepared, when they don't get the mindset down, when they don't take the steps to kind of look at things a certain way. Emotionally, oh no, and they get worried, and fear starts to take over. When you have the mindset adjustment, that's prefrontal cortex stuff, because you're thinking through things. The fear part, the emotional part, is the amygdala. Don't let your amygdala run the show. I can just see someone go home. There's going to be an argument in a marriage. You're going to go, that's just your amygdala talking. You know that, don't you? Yeah, why don't you get a little prefrontal cortex, right? Then come talk to me. But in all seriousness, the emotional part will follow the thinking part much, much better. Okay, even great saints will say that we're really built in, some say 2, some would say 3 pieces, spiritual and physical. Break it down a little further. Spiritual part, intellectual part, and emotional part. The emotion is more, kind of in the order of it is spiritual, intellectual, emotional. Most people actually run it the other direction. They live emotionally, I just don't feel good. I can't believe this. They're all upset, I can't, and it's emotion. Then the intellect goes, wait a minute, let's think through this, right? And then the faith gets in, we should pray and ask God what his will is in this. It should be the other way around. Like, I want to take everything to God first. I want to be on my knees and ask the Lord, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to handle this? And I got to think through this logically and rationally and not let the emotions, which should be third in line, run the show. Emotions are not bad. God gave them to us. Anybody ever been emotional? Like when you got married? Yeah. When someone died? Yeah. Was Jesus emotional when Lazarus died? Of course he was. Are emotions bad? No. Emotional when your kids are born or your grandkids? Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, look at this, yeah. And then I get to send them home with someone else. Yeah. I love my grandkids. I do. But it is nice that they live with their parents. And they know. I joke around with my kids about that. My mom and I will sit here and go, oh, look at that. Look at them over there. And they're leaving soon. No, I love them. We get along great. But the emotional part of who we are is really where a lot of people are. There's a great statement from the book of Sirach. Paraphrase, it's this. Master your passions, i.e. emotions, or they will master you. And if we look at the mindset adjustment first, that's intellect. And last night we talked about the spiritual component being the primary of all of this. We have to be men and women of prayer. And then the rational thinking, the mindset adjustment. And then when the emotions get involved, we've got it in check. We've got them in the right place. Right? And when all of a sudden tragedy happens, one of the big questions I get all the time, and someone will ask it tonight or tomorrow, what happens, Doug, if we can't communicate with our loved ones because communications go down? The answer to that is not an easy answer. It really says basically what you have to say is this, is you may never be able to again. And no one wants to hear that. If something happens and I can't get back to Texas tomorrow night, and I'm stuck up here with you, wait, hold on, that came out bad. I didn't mean it that way. I don't mean stuck. What I mean is, but if something happens and I can't get home and I have to live out my days here because who knows what happens in the country.
You have an atlas.
I have an atlas. I can start walking. I'm going to need somebody, some guy maybe, get a handgun from you and like 150 rounds, something to get me started, right? Okay? But in general, what happens if all of a sudden it's Russia invades Ukraine and within the first couple months, estimated 5 million people were exiled into Poland, and then the battle took place and some of those people will never talk to their loved ones again. And we don't even pay attention to the war that often anymore, do we? And then that leak came out a while back, and what did the leak say? Everybody was focused on the leak. How dare this leak? Who's that 21-year-old National Guard guy? How did he get that information? Did you pay attention to the information? One of the statements that was made was, Russia's winning this war. The Pentagon actually reports in one of these leaked documents that for every one Russian killed, estimated 7 Ukrainians are killed. So some of those Ukrainians, what'd you say, sir?
They don't tell you that.
No, they don't tell you that. All right? They keep us, and still we're sending billions of dollars over there. So some of those Ukrainian families, they're never talking again. Could that happen here? Yes. So the communication part, get your emotions strengthened, have that mindset adjusted, have those conversations with your loved ones in advance. We're not made for this world forever. We're made for eternity with God and the final resurrection. We're going to die sooner or later. I don't want to sound morbid and heartless. We're going to die sooner or later. Car accident, cancer, plane crash, whatever it might be, war, tornado, whatever it's going to happen. Have the moments with your loved ones now. Mindset and emotions, get them in check, put them in place. All my kids know I love them. I sent them this text message to all of them for Divine Mercy Sunday. And I said in there, I love you as your father. You have been one of the greatest blessings God has ever given me. I will not always be around with you. Actually, can I read it to you? All right. And I want to do this because I want you to understand that I'm not just a heartless guy. I actually do have a heart. Because I know some people would say, man, you are just so cold sometimes, man. You just really don't. All right, let me find this here. Yeah, and it was funny, and it's funny, like, that if you do things like this with your kids, and my wife and I will talk about, okay, who's going to be the first one to respond? You kind of go down the list of who's going to respond first, and we were right who it was, yeah. And then it's like 3 days later, the other two did. And we knew it would take a while for them because they're the 2 young guys who aren't married. They're living on their own in South Carolina, and they're like, did Dad text you? Yeah. Did you read it yet? No. Did you? No. Let's give it a couple more days, yeah. So I sent the picture. My wife and I, Divine Mercy, this is Saturday, we took the picture of the Divine Mercy at the church, okay? So here's the picture of Divine Mercy. You'll recognize that, okay? And this is what I texted them. Tomorrow, I'm going to try not to cry here. Tomorrow is Divine Mercy Sunday. I have very important and treasured memories of praying the Divine Mercy Chaplet with all of you. Please always know that God's mercy is the deepest and most fulfilling love you will ever and can ever experience. I am an imperfect father, and yet my love for each one of you is beyond explanation. Consider how the love of God, the Father who is perfect, stretches so much deeper and surpasses every fear, doubt, and wound. I am so thankful for the absolute blessing of having each one of you as my children. Raising you was one of the greatest honors I could ever have had. I thank God for each one of you every day. I will not always be in your lives. We know that things can change very quickly. I never want any of you to ever doubt my love for you or my desire for you to have the peace that only God can give. Whatever struggles, challenges, doubts, fears, or difficulties you will face in your life, never doubt at least these few things. That each one of you is the greatest treasure God could have ever given me. That God will always love you more than you can even comprehend. And that no matter what you do or where you find yourself in life, you can always turn back to God's ocean of mercy. Cooperate with His grace. Please do not delay. I look forward to that heavenly, eternal family night with all of you and every beautiful new member of this family. I pray and fast for each of you every day. I love you, Dad. So that is my way. And I didn't even think I was going to share that with anybody ever, right? But I think it's a good idea because I want you to understand what I mean by getting these things in place now. No matter what happens, whether it's a natural death or whether it's a disaster of some sort. My kids have all read that. And that was a way of helping them understand and helping me put in place emotion and intellect and mindset for them. Yes, sir.
Mr. Barry,
Yes.
will you forward that to us?
Yeah, if you want, I will, yeah. That's good. That's good, sir. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
That was absolutely beautiful, and I know my kids would have probably said, "Is Dad dying?"
Yeah. That's a good point. And my kids are used to me actually joking around about my death, and I joke around because part of me is trying to help prepare them that it's going to happen. I'm close to all my kids, but I want them to understand that this thing is going to happen, right? And I joke around about what's going to go on my gravestone, right? And it's so big now, the gravestone will be huge because I want this and this and this. And my wife will say to them, I just want you all to know that, we're praying that Dad will go before me so that I can tell you all you don't have to do all that. Because if she knows if she goes first, they're going to feel they got to honor Dad by doing everything I'm asking. So, but you know what? That's kind of what they would think, and I've tried to establish with them that we just have to understand the reality that this is life, and life changes on a dime, and it's not to be traumatized by it. Get your emotions in check, get your mindset in check. It's going to help you far, far better in the future with any serious crisis that may come. If we don't think that we're on the brink of a serious crisis in this country, then we're really got our heads in the sand. Whether it's cyber attacks, which I may have mentioned last night, I don't remember. I've been talking to a lot of people about this stuff here at this trip. But a friend of mine, he's one of our BR Coalition members, and he's connected to the Department of Defense as a lay guy. He's not a military guy. And there's stuff he can tell me and stuff he can't. But what he did tell me is months ago, he said, we are going to see cyber attacks increase. And it was a month or so after that when, I think I mentioned last time, if I did, the 12 airports in the US were hit simultaneously. The airport websites were hacked by someone, they believe it was a group out of Russia. They don't think it was military, but it was a group out of Russia. And when I mean hacked, we're talking LaGuardia in New York, O'Hare, Chicago, right? Jacksonville in Atlanta. They were all, and several others were hit. About a month or two after that, 14 hospitals were hacked. That's a little freaky when your hospital gets hacked, right? Okay, it's like when we hear all of a sudden, 5 million people on Facebook, they got all your profile information now, and you're like, oh, okay, that's bad. But when they're hacking hospitals and airports, and then we hear stories, the banks could just automatically shut down. What are we going to do with all that money you can't get out now? And now they talk FedCoin and central bank and World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and AI. And Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, who is a close personal confidant to Klaus Schwab, has said on video, we put this in our podcast when we interviewed John Henry Wesson from LifeSite News. He talked about it. We put the clip in there where he says on video, there will be two classes of people, AI class and the useless people. All right? They are planning this. And this is the guy that said, we can hack the human brain now. He said, the Nazis couldn't do it and the KGB couldn't do it because they didn't understand, biology like we do. Why would you compare it to them? Of all people, you pick the Nazis and the KGB? So ladies and gentlemen, if we do not see the storm right off the coast, actually it's on the coast, it's hitting. How it unfolds, of course they're not going to do it in such a way that everybody's going to go, oh, that's it. So they incrementally try to do these things. And it is insidious. It's very, very dark. And what we see, whether it's, against the Second Amendment, in Venezuela, when they talk about things like they have already eaten the animals from the zoo. 85% are below the poverty line. Inflation is 900%. Okay, and one of the first things they did to make that happen was they disarmed the people. And when they passed the law for them to turn in the guns, there was a saying, I saw some videos on this, and they said, look, we turned in the guns, I think it was 2015, and by 2018, give or take, we were eating dogs in the street. Okay, because there are always Judases in the crowd. If we think for a moment that because Stalin and Hitler and Mao and Pol Pot and these guys and Castro are gone, therefore the evil's gone, the demons that took their hearts over are not dead. They don't die. We just have technology now that can be used by them in ways that far surpasses what was done in the past. So while that sounds overwhelming, it isn't, because we have God. Now, what God allows, though, as we know, are things, and this baffles me, genocides, world wars. Okay, Lord, I don't understand that. Sometimes I just sit like this, and I talk about this stuff all the time, so trust me, I don't sleep well sometimes, because I'm thinking, okay, Lord, how do we put this in perspective? And oftentimes, I pray about that, and I get in my heart, look, you don't have to. Your job is right here, right now. And this is your lane. Stay in your lane and focus on what you can do right here. And I told you last night, and I mean it sincerely, I heard him say to me, help them prepare. And so my encouragement to you is take these steps, not because, I think I got all the answers, because I don't. But if we are all a little bit better prepared, we're all better off. If a few of us are really prepared, but a lot of us aren't really prepared at all, then we're not in great shape. I always say, if you got a neighborhood of 10 families, and for whatever reason, that neighborhood is isolated, disaster, something happens, nothing's coming in, no one's getting out, you're just stuck for whatever reason. One of those families is prepared, 9 aren't. When those 9 find out the one is, and those 9 get desperate, and you know how long it takes for someone to get desperate when they know they're not going to receive any help? It takes about 3 days roughly. And that's studies they've done. When all of a sudden food's done, or scarce, water's shut off, or it's trickling, no medical care, we got gangs potentially roaming streets, whatever it is, and now people are getting stressed, and well, is National Guard coming? Is FEMA coming? Are the Knights of Columbus coming to sell Tootsie Rolls? Is something going to happen? I'm a third-degree Knight, I can pick on us, right? All right? Do a wicked fish fry, I tell you, man. I went to get my 3rd degree, and my sons were joking around, so Dad, are they going to dub you with a spatula? Right? Is everything going to do? All right, but when we realize that no one's coming, and the 8 neighborhoods isolated, and those 9 families that haven't prepared realize the one has, and your kid is hungry, or your wife is sick, or you got a big hole in your roof and water's coming in from rain, you're going to go to this family and say, hey, we need some help. Hey, you know what? I'd love to, but I don't got much, and I got a family, and I don't know how long this is going to go on. Okay. Another day or 2 go by. Hey, you know what? I really need some help. No, I really can't. No, you understand. I need help. And that good man, all of a sudden, because he cares about his family, starts reaching the point of a little bit of desperation. And you carry that on a couple more days, and pretty soon he's coming up saying, you're giving me something. Look, I ain't got nothing to get. You're giving me something now. It can turn that way very easily, because it has many times. 5 families are prepared, 5 aren't. That changes the dynamics enormously. 9 are prepared, 1 isn't. They're going to get through. Because those 9 are coming together, and if they're truly prepared, mindset, spirituality, emotions, all's in check, and gear and equipment and talent and skill, they'll go to the one and say, okay, hey, we're going to teach you this stuff. You're going to have to work. We're going to get you on board. Okay, we're not just giving freebies here, but you know what? We're pretty good because we're all on the same page. Most of us, 9 of us are, 90%. So if all of us get a little bit better prepared, if you all go out and buy a flashlight, as an example, then when things go dark, we'll light this place up like that. It's that way. Everybody gets a little bit of food. Everybody gets a little bit of water. Everybody gets some water filters. Then when you're tapping into the river or the local lake, you're not panicking going, is the water going to be good? There's a great water filter out there called Lifesaver. It is one of the best out there on the market, designed by a guy, Michael Pritchard, out of England. The military in UK use it. You can take it, 5-gallon jerry can or individual bottles. Now the bottles are about $185. The jerry can's around $300. It'll work about 5,300 gallons of water though. You can literally pull the cap off. You can dip it in a pond. Put the cap on, pull it, the backside up, pump it 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. Open this side, you've got pressurized water that goes through a filter that is designed to filter out and purify the water from the smallest virus that they know, which I believe is polio, at about 25 nanometers. And the filter, cells on the filter are 15. Okay, that's worth a $300 investment. And I know guys that'll say to their wives, oh, I want to put $300 into a water filter that could save our lives. Are you kidding me? But I got season tickets. I got to spend $500 on a hockey game, right? Pizza, beer, parking alone is $200. Okay, mindset. You got to readjust that mindset. Lifesaver. Yeah, you can, Lifesaver icon is something you can search. If you search Lifesaver water filter on Amazon, you'll find their website, you'll find Amazon, and the prices vary on this stuff.
We have a life straw.
Life straws are good. Yeah. Yeah, is it the one you put in the water? Yeah, that's a tough one because you got to get down by the water and you got to suck it through. And when those filters start getting clogged up, you're going to feel it.
Backpacking, I have a Sawyer.
Sawyers are good. I got a Sawyer in here, Sawyer Mini. Yeah, I don't go anywhere without my
I
Sawyer.
have a tiny Sawyer.
Yeah,
I have 6
that's good. That's good. The big one. Yeah, Sawyer, Life Straw, Lifesaver, Catadine, all good brands. We have them all in BRC. We test them all. We use them. I took dirt in the front yard, put it in a glass, stirred it up. I poured it in my Lifesaver and drank it. I had all my hair back then, but other than that, everything's fine. And there's a little strange twitch that has happened. No, I'm just kidding. No, so yeah, I mean, you can try this stuff out, and you can get the big camping ones like the 6-liter one you're talking about. You can get the gravity-filled ones. You can get the ones you can heat up and make a shower out of it. It's black material, so you put it out in the sun, it heats up the water, you can get a warm shower. Those are camping things. Look, the camping community has done a lot of this stuff. All right, this stuff is out there. And our course, we go through with links to all of it. I'm not trying to push the course, but I will say this. I'm a big fan of a term called strategic purchase. You use your money strategically. Not everybody's got a lot. Some people do. But I would say, look, if you're going to purchase something, buy the best you can. Another phrase, buy once, cry once. I know, I've done it. I bought flashlights. They last a couple of weeks, the Walmart versions, right? Okay, I've had this flashlight a long time. I've dropped it, right? And it still works, okay? It's still, darn it. Just kidding. Just kidding, right? Hey, right? I mean, these are made, they drive over them, I drop them in the water. I jumped in a pool once with my flashlight in my swimming trunks. Why I had it on there? Because I'm crazy that way, right? I forgot to take it out, is what it was. And I jumped in, forgot my flashlight, tossed it out. It's like, it still worked, right? It was the Streamlight, the one that I had in there. My point is, buy once, cry once, strategic purchase, get the stuff that you know is going to help you get the job done quick. Now, you can go online and you can just start searching YouTube videos and Rumble, wherever you go to, and you can pull up stuff that's got all this that we're talking about. Okay, and I encourage you to do that if you want, all right? I hate sounding salesman-y. We put BREP together, B-R-E-P, Be Ready Emergency Preparedness Course, the BREP course, for the sake of helping people cut through all of that and speed things up, all right? You buy the BREP course, and it allows you to get quickly to the links, and we show you how to do things, and we talk about packing a bug-out bag, all those things. Okay, mindset and emotion adjustment done. Let's answer some questions and wrap up the night. We'll start, ma'am, you first, and then you. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
I've got 2 other daughters that are living in the home. We have a fireman, not trained them.
Okay.
Where should I go?
Are you from this parish? Nearby, okay. First thing I'm going to ask is this. Is there anybody in this church right now who either has the skill, and I don't mean someone who just knows how to shoot. I mean you know how to teach, knows where you have access to a shooting range, or you know somebody who does, who could actually help and assist people like this situation right here. Is there anybody in this church who knows or has that skill and ability? Or knows somebody who does? You know a neighbor who does? Okay, that's the first thing I always recommend, especially with things like firearms. First thing is try to find local resources. Okay, and tomorrow, well, let's push for that. And
Ann Arbor, we've been several times.
Ann Arbor?
Ann Arbor on Jackson Road. Ann Arbor Arms, yes.
Ann Arbor Arms. The other thing is maybe Father and maybe Rory can help with this as well. You know, Rory runs the Men on Fire group. Men on Fire, right, Rory? Yeah. Did I say that right? Yeah. It is Men on Fire?
We got gun guys.
You got gun guys, there you go. And what I recommend is you find the people that are trained, that know what they're doing. Now, I'm not an NRA instructor, so I can't claim that. I have trained with a dozen guys that either are, or they're ex-military, or Secret Service, or this and that. I can do basic stuff with no problem. Having shooting range time, though, is important. It's one thing to talk about how a gun functions, how you drop a magazine, how you rack it, how you clear a chamber, how you hold it, these things. You've got to get on a range to be able to pull the trigger and get a feel for it. And then from there, you work towards things like how do you do it in your house. Because if there's a bad guy in your house, quick example, and some of you who got guns at home, bad guy breaks in the house, I'm going to take care of it. Well, how are you going to step into the hallway to do it? He's in the middle of the hallway, you're going to come around and go, freeze! Right here, fully exposed. Are you going to be in a position where you can be around a corner? You got a light on it, on the gun, in your hand, or you be down low, you may be high. They come in your bedroom. Where do you go in your bedroom? Do you have a chest of drawers? You get behind what side angle of the door so when the door opens, you can get the shot off before they get the shot off. I don't want to sound like complicated here, but those are things, in most cases, you're not going to be at a shooting range if you're defending yourself. You're going to be in your home, or in a parking lot. And so you got to train in those type of scenarios. Some gun ranges will do that. They'll have like a shoot house where it's set up where you can be sitting on a couch. Like if I'm on my couch, this sounds crazy to some people. I'm willing to sound crazy to help inspire or get mindset working. In my home, my gun is on my hip all the time. I live out in the country a little ways. I'm in a neighborhood of 20 homes. I am easily 20, 30 minutes before a cop might make it. I don't care if they're 3 minutes away though. Bad guy can destroy me and my family in 2 seconds if they get the jump on me. So I'm watching TV and my little 9mm SIG is on my hip. My little holster outside the waistband, right? But it's right there. I'm mowing the lawn, right? There it is, right? It's never chambered at home. Why am I telling you this? The reason it's not chambered is I have grandkids. But when look, that gun never leaves me though. I am adamant. It's always on me. And my family all knows it's there. And my grandkids are aware, hey, Grandpa's, what is that? And my son will say, oh, it's Grandpa's gun. And they're like, okay, they're grown up. My son's teaching them, right? They know the 4 gun rules, and so forth and so forth. Training in your environment is what I'm saying, though. So you're home, you got the kids to take care of, and best thing I can say right now, if you're not familiar with the firearm until you get to that point, ma'am, is make sure you have pepper spray planted in key places of your house. And put it in places like the kitchen in a cabinet. Put it in the hallway, put it in the bedroom, and maybe one near the garage. And the reason you put it in various places, if you're in the kitchen working, someone kicks in the door, oh, I got to run to the bedroom and grab the pepper spray. It's like, see, I don't want to run to the bedroom and get my gun. I don't want to have to unlock my safe. Bad guys in the house, I'm unlocking my safe. It's there right now. Pull that thing out, rack it, and I'm on. Right? And I go through that and I train that and I practice clearing my house. What's that mean? You come in the house and you practice going through your house as if there may be someone in your house. How do you do this so that you don't walk into a line of fire before you would identify an intruder in your home? Now, this sounds crazy to some. The guy that I talked with today said he's got a son who's an FBI agent, and this FBI agent's son, every single time he comes home, he clears his house. He's an FBI agent in Chicago. Okay? So he feels it's important. Not just in case someone's in the house, it hones his skills. When you go through this all the time, you get used to it. It becomes muscle memory. It becomes part of you. It's like being able to just reach here without even thinking, and there's the flashlight. It's the same concept with defensive measures. Someone comes at me, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this. This posture is I'm ready to protect, but I'm also ready to come back. This posture says, oh crap, and then I could be down. One second before we get to you, sir. The pepper spray, when you put it in your cabinets, do not allow anything to get in front of it. Like pepper spray's here. We never use it. Probably isn't going to happen. Yeah, you never do. It's like the fire extinguisher. You should have fire extinguishers in a few places in your house too. Oh yeah, but you know what? And then the can of peaches goes in there, and then the green beans, and then the bag of rice, and pretty soon you open the cabinet, you can't even see it. All right, and you got to be able to, ladies, let's imagine, or us guys, 4 guys come in my house. I got to know I can, in the dark or looking over this way, open this, grab this, rack this, point this, do this, and I don't want to be going, oh, where is that? It's like when I hear ladies say to me, I don't know if some of y'all who were here last night I was talking to back here about pepper spray. I'll say to women, do you carry pepper spray when you walk through parking lot in public? Oh yeah, I got it. Where is it? Oh, it's in my purse. How fast can you get it out? How fast can you get your keys out? You're like, oh, hold on a second. Where is that? 1 second there. Right? So the bad guy springs the ambush on you, whah! And you're like, oh, 1 second, please. All right, just get your hands off my throat until I get my pepper spray. You know? So having access, it's called easily accessible items. You have to have easy access. So get your pepper spray in place until we work out a way for you to find someone to help with the firearm training for this young lady here, right? That's important. Okay, your question, sir, and then we'll go over here. Yes?
And I had one from last night too.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow up with her. Why should everybody have a shotgun in their house? Loaded or unloaded? Doesn't that scare anybody breaking in?
I know people who have a shotgun, no rounds, no shells. The sound of a pump action 12 gauge is enough for most cases. True story, couple in their 80s, young couple in their 80s. There's a knock on the door, standard knock, no big deal. The gentleman gets up and goes to open his door. He opens it up, it was a setup knock. There's 2 thugs outside, they're in their 20s or so. The knock was to simply get the door open. The moment it was open, boom! The guy goes to the floor. First thug jumps on him, starts doing a ground and pound. He's just beating this guy. The wife immediately runs out of the room and comes back with a 12 gauge. And she knew how to use it. She came back, brought it down. They heard the sound, saw the gun, started running out the door. She fired a shot, peppered their backside pretty good, didn't kill him, saved her husband's life and probably hers too. Another story, true story, pregnant woman, 8 months pregnant. Teenage daughter in the house with the husband, evening time, knock on the back door. Dad opens the door, guy with a pistol, kicks the door open. So even if it's a simple knock, it could be check it first. Don't just go, oh, there's someone at the door. Anyway, just check it, who's out there, what's going on. If you don't know who they are, have something planned, pepper spray in your hand, whatever, you know. So he goes to open the door, guy kicks in the door and starts pistol whipping the dad. The pregnant woman runs back in the bedroom. The guy hits the dad several times, grabs the teenager. He's trying to drag her out of the house. It's an abduction. You talk about a brazen act of abduction. Pistol whip the dad, grab the teenager, looks over his shoulder. There's the 8-month pregnant woman with the AR-15. That's what she went to get. She comes back, points that at him. He freaks out, fires a couple shots. The daughter, of course, has hit the dirt. She's on the ground. She's out of the line of fire. He's running out. He gets hit a few times. He drops at about 200 feet in a ditch and dies. Those are cases of people who have thought through what to do and they know what to do in a stressful situation. The idea of having a 12 gauge, a pump action like you're saying here, have it on hand, loaded or not, just the racking sound is a powerful sound. I like the idea of having it loaded. If you're concerned about killing someone, just put rock salt in it, buckshot, things like that. People will say, I only have a shotgun, that's all I'm going to worry about. Shotguns aren't going to work in every situation. They'll work if the bad guys are all over there and there's no good guys. They won't work if you've got a family member here, like in the case of the woman with the AR-15. She couldn't fire a shotgun because her daughter's right there. So you have to be thinking about that. I talked to a Secret Service friend of mine who's retired, and I said, what do you recommend? He said, 3 guns, a pistol, long rifle, and a shotgun. Shotguns are also known as room brooms because they sweep. And the wider, and what's it? Double aught. It'll fan out. Yeah, and so you don't have to be right on target as you would with a pistol or a rifle. But in general, having something like that on hand, if I could pick one, I'd probably go with a handgun with a weapon line on it because I like to be able to control the shot better. But my backup is my 12 gauge, and it's right there, ready to go. Yeah, lasers are good. You got lasers, you got lights, you got red dots. My little pistol